Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany. Welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before, and welcome to my February monthly wrap-up. So, I think some housekeeping is in order. I do want to tell you the structure of this video being that I still have a few books to fill you in on in terms of my February reads, after which I do want to give you my stats, and I want to share some additions to the library, and then wrap up with my favorites because there are books that have been sent to me. Thank you. Truly, thank you. And there have been books that I've bought that just so happen to be favorites. So let's start out with the reads that I haven't told you about. I want to make good on telling you about every single book that I have read. And so we're gonna start with Lord of Population by Elizabeth Stevens. This is a recommendation that was given to me by Ricky Reads on Bookstagram. She was giving us Black authors, romances with Black main characters, and I will be devouring her post-apocalyptic and alien romance recs. Full disclosure, this is being filmed on March 8th. I'm like 2 days into the Romance Takeover readathon, and I promised at the beginning of that vlog that I would actually film this. So I'm not sure when you're gonna get it, but I'm making good on that promise right now. And Taken to Phyrexia is currently on my TBR for the readathon. I mean, the cover is absolutely stunning. This is a special edition cover that's not currently available. I really hope she brings it back because it's absolutely stunning. So, and it's on my DBR because Lord of Population simply hit, okay? It is a post-apocalyptic romance by way of alien invasion, and those aliens just so happen to be vampiric, which I thought was a really fresh take when this could have just been another zombie apocalypse. We're following Abel. She is lethal, and I loved to see it. She's also traveling with found family, her best friend, and her best friend's daughter. And at the beginning of this book, they get attacked. And that action sequence was full freaking throttle, where we get to see Abel's skill sets, okay? And unfortunately and sadly, her best friend is killed, and her best friend's daughter is kidnapped. And her life is spared by Cain. Do you see the biblical reference here? Who she believes to be a man. And so, you know, in keeping with her very detailed rules as to how to survive in this world, she kind of, you know, frisks down the corpse, and she takes a sword and sets out to find her best friend's daughter and rescue her. And that sword really serves as a beacon for Cain. And that starts the chase. This was a road trip, survival, slow burn romance where I love how, yes, he's captivated by her beauty, but it's her will and her skill sets that are very legible in these life or death situations that he falls in love with. And we get to learn that he is not a man, okay? We learn of his very royal ties within the alien society, and he offers her a place of refuge, okay? This is a place of respite for both of them where he carries out his wooing, which again is a slow burn because she does have trauma of assault in this book, the way in which he is patient with that, the faded elements, why her blood is special. There were so many twists and turns that I could not predict. There is political intrigue, espionage. This world was so vast in scope and in detail. Like, I absolutely loved it. I was gobsmacked, okay? I rated it 4 stars. There's a period of separation between the hero and heroine that does usher in a sort of love triangle with the brother type situation, which makes me want to pick up the second book. So I adored this. I cannot wait to continue, and I can't wait to pick up Taken to Phyrexia, okay? Like, I'm here for it. So I'm hoping I found a new to me author. Of course, any author that I pick up that I haven't read before is new. But I am always looking for authors to add to my roster, and I'm thinking Elizabeth Stevens is gonna be it. So then I read Finlay, Donovan Knocks Him Dead. This is the second in the series. I rated the first book 5 stars, where Finlay Donovan, okay, is mistaken for and hired as a hit woman after being overheard pitching her book to her editor at a Panera Bread, okay? The way that she navigates the sort of snowball of that inciting incident and how it makes its way onto the page of her book was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. And in this book, I think Finlay is active in a different way, being that her ex-husband has a hit out on him, and she just so happens to be in a custody battle. So that is the last place that she wants her children to be. And she is trying to prevent things from happening and placing herself in these bonker situations. And so I did like that switch up. And I also liked how her editor and fan base, now that the first book has become widely popular, are really wanting to influence what happens in the next book. I thought that was hilarious. And I do think that the pacing of this book ramped up just as fast as the plausibility of these events happening dwindled, but I was along for the ride, okay? It was a fun time. I will say she doesn't do as much writing, okay, in the second book, where I really enjoyed that element in the first, and there is, you know, a romance plot within this book that I absolutely loved, and I did enjoy the ending. So I rated it 4 stars. And the last book, Finlay, Donovan Jumps the Gun, is the third in the series, and it's my least favorite. I rated it a 3 star, and it has something that I normally enjoy, which is a unity of space and a limited time frame where all of our characters are in one setting. In this book, it is a citizens police academy where Finlay and Vero are, I'll just say, investigating, if you do plan on picking up this series. And it felt like a missed opportunity. There are challenges, group work, and just missed opportunities where they could figure out who done it. Cool things could have been happening, and it felt like clues were just falling into their laps. And it also kind of felt like, if you've ever binge watched a show, the elements that made you fall in love with the protagonist start to grate as you're like, I don't know, into season 3 and you're so hyper focused on them. That's kind of how I felt with Finlay in the third book. And even though there is a strong romance element and the ending made me want to pick up the fourth book that I didn't even know that we were getting, it was boring for me to read. There is a mob element, the sort of big bad. I love when Jessen says that. I absolutely love it. That didn't feel fully fleshed out. And so it was my least favorite within the series. But I'm happy that I continued, and I will be picking up the fourth book. That one will determine if I'm going to continue on with the series, if she's going to continue writing more. Now I want to move into my stats for the month. I'm going to be referring to my phone. I know off the bat that I read 50 books for the month of February, the staggering majority being made up of novellas. I was a part of the novellathon at the beginning of the month, and I know that I read 25 for that alone. I always like to see that I'm reading across genres, and I'm glad to see my thrillers are still in the mix. That is a bookish goal of mine this year, to pick up more. I'm happy to see the sci-fi. I have a growing need for more sci-fi elements since Duplication by M.M. Wakeford. And I'm not at all surprised that LGBTQ, okay, makes up the second largest category. Now, moving on to form, because I do like to track that as well, another bookish goal of mine is to actually start picking up my physical TBR. So I was really happy to not only find, but actually read this new addition to my library, which is My Sister, the Serial Killer. I talk about this at length. In fact, every single book. It's nice to be able to say that in previous wrap-ups, so you can look there. But I loved this. It is a very interesting sibling relationship, how her gray matter is discussed, and I also thought the way that beauty could be weaponized was just like beautifully done. So I absolutely loved this. I also read The Auction by Maggie Cole. This was sent in a beautiful PR package along with the second book that I need to get to. And again, I'm just happy that these came in just as fast as I read them. Now, without even looking, I know that ebooks are going to dominate in terms of my reading. They always do. Okay, I am working that Kindle Unlimited subscription. And I'm not surprised that I have 11 audiobooks. This month, I finally got a Nevada library card, especially when I heard that it would be coming with access to our national parks. I'm so excited about it. So I was definitely working that because I have more access to indie published authors and I'm here for it. It's nice to have both. Now, moving into my ratings, I had 15 5-star ratings for the month of February. I found some gems during the novella-thon. Listen, I know there is some crossover in terms of the fantasy and dark, okay, when it comes to my favorite fantasy romance this month. And I also am happy to see that there are historicals in here because I've honestly been meaning to get back to them. I'm also not surprised that I have 29 4-star reads. I typically tend to have more 4 stars. I think the more I read, the more I've learned my taste and what's gonna work for me. And so the majority of each month since I've been tracking for the last year have been 4 stars. If you want me to come out with a video talking about how I rate books, I can do that because rating can be very subjective. We all have our differing affinities, our life experiences that inform how we experience a read, and my 5-star is going to be different from your 5-star, so I can definitely come out with that. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to, and I will get it out. Lastly, I have my 3-star reads. I had 6 for the month of February, the majority of them being novellas, probably due to the readathon, and these were simply just not memorable. The connection between the main characters were either lacking or I had pet peeves when it came to the plot. So I definitely have more 3 stars this month simply because I read more. So moving into the additions to the library, I was sent books for the month of February. If you have ever sent me a book, thank you. I mean, every single time it like guts me. It guts me because the fact that she would even think of me, that she would send me something is still baffling. I also I love having the books. I do. But I love getting that card. I love just the manifestation of the connections that we make in this community. And it thrills me every single time I get a book. So if you have sent me a book, thank you. Some of which have made their way onto my favorites for this year. So I will definitely be holding those up. But I'm just amazed at the kindness and I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much. So moving into the books that I got for myself this month. If you've watched my birthday book tag, then you know I have gotten Not All Himbos Wear Capes. I absolutely adored this romance and I had to own it. I love the comic book feel with inside. It's just so beautiful. I'm also collecting Katie Roberts' Dark Olympus series, so I had to pick up Radiant Sun, okay? Because I fell in love with the poly step back that's in Wicked Beauty, and here I'm just loving this dominant pin down situation. I'm here for it, auntie. So I had to buy that. If you can't see it, I'll make sure that I give you an insert shot because I think it's stunning. I have yet to read this book, but I will be getting into it. And also, I had to get Mistletoe by Kimberly Lemming. I found out that Kimberly Lemming now has traditional publishers. And I'm so excited about it because that means that her books are going to be more widespread. More people can pick them up. I want everybody to read the Mishap Mead series because it's brought me so much joy. But with that new contract means recovering her series. And if you don't know, she designs her own covers. They're absolutely stunning. Now, I am a woman that enjoys great lighting, so I might have to give you an insert shot here. I mean, sometimes, you cannot see the covers, but I will give you an insert shot, okay, if it's blowing out the appeal, because I absolutely loved this. This is the Christmas novella within the series. This is where we get to meet Alexis, the Sword, one of my favorite fantasy characters of all time, because she is so crass. She is hilariously crude and she's frank. I keep saying that if she were in corporeal form, she would be stealing all of the heroine's men. If she were in my life, she'd get it all the way together. I absolutely love Alexis. I had to own this. I have the first 2 in the series. And since that announcement, her publishers did say that her cover for the 3rd book will be available as a limited edition. However, I don't know when that's happening. Okay, so I gobbled this up when I could. Now, Moving into an addition to the library and also a favorite for the month, that has to be Plié. Okay, this is the big booty book, as Caitlin would put it. It's absolutely stunning. As someone that prefers people to be on my cover, I mean, these two illustrated covers are just like, oh, I had to have them on my shelf. And Plié just completely captivated me. Of course, I talk about this at length in a previous wrap up for this month, but I just love how he is so hyper focused on her. This is dislike to love. He's needling her every step of the way. And then it just turns into awe. And I love how he is just obsessed with Aisha. Oh my God. This is such an amazing romance. It's a new favorite of mine. I cannot wait for more within the series, and I want to devour more of A.H Cunningham in general. I absolutely loved this. I was sent this book, so thank you. And The Duke Gets Even is also a favorite for the month. I mean, this was a highly anticipated read for me. I was waiting for Nellie's book, and it was so just delicious to see Lockwood finally get his HEA and become privy to what made him the man that he is. And all of these scenes in water made me want a step back for this book. I hope that we can kind of get something like that. And I hope there's a spin-off series that comes from this book, because Nellie's familial ties, I mean, like, I need a spin-off series. Anyway, I loved this book. I also was sent Fairydale by Veronica Lancet, and it is a favorite for the month of February. This was a dark, historical, with gothic vibes fantasy romance that I absolutely loved. It was a commitment, and I got a full return on my investment. I mean, this was so sweepingly romantic, and the meditations within it were just moving and sobering, and oh, this HEA was hard won. I absolutely loved it, and it has led to Veronica Lancet now being an author on my roster, okay? Because I loved Morally Corrupt by her as well. And as far as novellas, I have got to mention Coming Home by Kennedy Ryan, okay? This was an Audible original that she came out with in the month of February. It's set at an HBCU. It is second chance. Some of the quotes within this, I mean, it's Kennedy Ryan. I think this is a good entry point. If you've never read her before, it's just a taste, okay? It's just a taste, but it's a good nibble. I loved this so much. And I've got to mention Claire Kent, okay? I will be making my way through Claire Kent's backlist, because Hold and Fall by Claire Kent had a chokehold on me. The way that she puts her characters in these perilous situations, and they're also sort of awkward, dubious survival. It's just so compelling. I was riveted. And so I'm obsessed. I will be working my way through Claire Kent's backlist, starting with Escorted. I have to read Escorted and then go back to Last Light before Haven. Anyway, I had a really busy, full, and just like amazing month. I loved doing the novellathon. I cannot wait to do that again. And again, if you sent me a book, thank you so much. I am currently in the Romance Takeover Readathon. I will be coming out with that vlog. I'm not quite sure when you're gonna get this, being that I am very busy at work, but these videos will be coming out. I am still committed to telling you about everything that I'm picking up. So I want to thank you for joining me. Please consider subscribing and sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.